Welcome to Monk's Temple. Please, come in and make yourself comfortable. You can sit or lie down. Let your eyes close softly, or let your gaze rest gently on a spot in front of you. We are about to begin a long, quiet journey together, a journey not through any external landscape, but through the vast and often unseen terrain of your own mind. For over 35 years, I have walked the path of mindful awareness, studying the gentle teachings of Buddhism and learning that true peace is not a prize to be won, but a home to be remembered. Tonight, I invite you to simply listen. Let the sound of these words be a soft light in the darkness, guiding you back to a place of stillness you have always carried within. Our world moves quickly. It asks much of us. It can fill our minds with a noise so constant we forget what silence sounds like. We become collectors of worries, of tasks, of memories we cannot release. The great teacher, the Buddha, shared a truth that has echoed for millennia: we are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. Your mind, in this very moment, is the artist painting the reality you experience. But what if the canvas has become crowded? What if the brushes are worn, the colors muddied? The beautiful promise of the Buddhist path is that we can learn to clean the canvas. We can learn to see with fresh eyes. This is not about adding more knowledge, but about gently removing the layers of dust that keep us from seeing our own innate clarity. Our journey will explore 7 gates of understanding. We will not rush. We will linger at each one. I will share with you not only the timeless wisdom from the tradition but stories from my own life, simple moments where these teachings became real, tangible, and transformative. We begin not with effort, but with a profound and simple act of return. Our first gate is one you carry with you always, the constant rhythm of your aliveness, the breath. Before we step through that first gate, if the sense of calm you feel right now, this initial turning inward, is something you wish to cultivate, I gently invite you to subscribe to Monk's Temple. By subscribing, you plant a seed of intention, a way to find your way back to this peaceful space whenever you need a guide. Now, let us begin. Close your eyes now, if they aren't already. Bring your awareness to the place where you feel your breath most easily. It might be the gentle rise and fall of your abdomen. It might be the cool stream of air at the tip of your nostrils. There is no need to change it, to deepen it, or to control it. Simply notice it. Your breath is life's most intimate whisper. It is the thread that stitches you to the present moment. In the ancient Pali language, the mindfulness of breath is called anapanasati. It was the meditation the Buddha himself frequently practiced and taught. It is not a complicated technique for advanced practitioners, it is the fundamental homecoming for every human being. Let me tell you a story. Many winters ago, I found myself in a small, drafty cabin during a period of deep personal uncertainty. My mind was a storm of questions without answers. One evening, the wind howled so fiercely it seemed the walls would shake apart. I felt a matching panic rise within me. In the darkness, with no electricity, I did the only thing I could think to do. I lay down on the cold floorboards. I placed one hand on my chest and one on my belly. And I just listened. I listened to the wind, and I listened to the breath underneath the wind. I noticed a strange thing: the wind would rage, then there would be a pause, a perfect, still silence, before the next gust. And my breath was the same. A gentle inhalation, a brief pause, a soft exhalation, another pause. My inner storm began to sync with this rhythm. I wasn't battling the fear anymore. I was simply breathing with it. The breath became my anchor, holding me steady while the gales of thought and emotion blew around me. That night, the Buddhist teaching moved from philosophy to lived experience. The breath is an island in the flood. It is always there. So let us practice this anchoring together now. With each inhalation, feel your body receive nourishment, vitality, and presence. With each exhalation, feel a subtle release of whatever you are ready to let go of. A tiny tension in the jaw, a slight tightness in the shoulders, a passing thought. In and out. You are not trying to achieve a special state. You are practicing being a compassionate witness to the most basic miracle of your existence. When your mind wanders, and it will, 1,000 times, greet that wandering with kindness. No criticism. No frustration. Just a gentle note, wandering, and then guide your attention back to the next breath. This act of returning, again and again, is the very practice that cleanses the mind. It is like polishing a mirror. Each return is one soft, caring stroke that clears away the dust of distraction. Breathe in, a sense of arriving. Breathe out, a sense of softening. Imagine your mind as a vast, clear sky. Your thoughts and feelings are like clouds, some light and fluffy, some dark and heavy. Your awareness, anchored in the breath, is the sky itself. The clouds move through the sky, but the sky is not harmed by them, not changed by them. It holds them all with infinite space. You are that sky. Your breath is the gentle wind that reminds you of your boundless, open nature. Rest here for a few more moments, anchored in this simple, silent rhythm. This is your sanctuary, always accessible, always within. Let us carry that anchored, sky-like feeling forward as we move to our next gate. Having found a steady refuge within the breath, we can now turn our attention gently outward, to the environment that holds us. For the mind does not exist in a vacuum. It is in a continuous, subtle dance with the world around it. The Buddha's teachings on mindfulness extend beyond the cushion into every corner of our lives, reminding us that clarity within is often supported by harmony without. Our second gate, then, is the practice of creating intentional space. There is a profound Buddhist principle known as praditya samutpada, or dependent origination. It teaches that all things are interconnected, that nothing exists in isolation. Your inner state and your outer environment are part of this same, delicate web. A cluttered, chaotic room can feel like a physical echo of a cluttered, chaotic mind. Conversely, a space of order and intention can act as a silent guide, leading the mind back to its own inherent calm. This is not about aesthetics or materialism. It is about relationship. It is about cultivating a respectful and mindful dialogue with the physical world that supports your journey inward. I learned this not from a scripture, but from a humble broom. Early in my studies, I was given the daily task of sweeping the main hall of a temple, a vast, wooden-floored space. At first, I saw it as a chore. I would rush through it, my mind already on the meditation session to follow. The results were visible: missed corners, piles of dust hastily collected. My teacher observed this for a few days. Then, one morning, he wordlessly took the broom from my hands. He began to sweep with a slow, deliberate, almost reverential rhythm. Each stroke was complete. Each movement was present. He wasn't just cleaning the floor, he was in communion with it. Watching him, I understood, the sweeping was the meditation. The state of mind he brought to the act was imprinted upon the space, and the clean, orderly space would then support a clear, orderly mind for all who entered. The Buddha taught that right effort is part of the path. This was right effort made visible. We weren't just removing dust, we were practicing non-attachment, moment by moment, stroke by stroke. You can begin this practice in any corner of your life. It need not be overwhelming. Do not look at your entire home and feel burdened. That is the opposite of the intention. Instead, choose one small, contained area. A single drawer. A bedside table. A shelf. The goal is not a stark, empty minimalism, but a thoughtful curation. As you empty this space, clean it. Feel the cloth in your hand, smell the clean scent. As you hold each item to decide its fate, ask yourself a simple, compassionate question: does this object support peace? Does it have a clear purpose or bring genuine joy? You are not judging yourself for having it. You are simply assessing its current role in your life's ecosystem. You will find that many items are tied to old versions of yourself, to maybe someday, or to vague obligations. Releasing them is an act of kindness to your present self. It is a declaration that you are here, now, and you deserve an environment that reflects the clarity you are cultivating. As you place back only the items that belong, arrange them with care. See it as creating a small altar to mindfulness. When you finish, sit for a moment with this cleared space. Feel the difference in the energy. It is lighter. It breathes. This tiny pocket of harmony is a direct message to your nervous system. There is order here, there is care here, you are safe here. This practice, extended gradually, transforms your living space from a storage unit for the past into a sanctuary for the present. It is a powerful, tangible form of mental cleansing, for you cannot hold a thought of frantic overwhelm while calmly, patiently ordering a shelf. The outer order coaxes the inner chaos into stillness. From this place of created harmony, our awareness naturally expands further, reaching beyond walls and ceilings to the most ancient and nurturing sanctuary of all. We come from the earth. Our bodies are made of its elements, the water, the minerals, the very air. To feel separate from nature is the root of a deep, existential loneliness. Buddhism reminds us of our fundamental non-separateness. In the forest, there is no single leaf that exists independently of the tree, the soil, the rain, and the sun. We are that leaf. To reconnect with the natural world is to remember our true family, our original home. It is to allow a mind frazzled by human-made complexities to be soothed by a rhythm that is older, wiser, and infinitely patient. My most potent teacher in this was a willow tree that grew by a slow-moving river. During a year of profound heartache, I would visit this tree almost daily. I did not talk to it. I did not ask it for answers. I simply sat beneath its canopy, my back against its trunk, and watched the river. I watched how the water never fought its path. It flowed around rocks, over fallen logs, without complaint or resistance. It simply continued. The willow's branches dipped into the current, bending with a graceful surrender to the water's power. One afternoon, as I sat there filled with my own resistance to a painful change, a storm blew in. I huddled closer to the trunk. The willow began to sway wildly. Its long branches thrashed in the wind, and I heard creaks and groans from its great trunk. I was terrified it would break. But when the storm passed, the willow was still there, perhaps with a few more twigs on the ground, but fundamentally unbroken. It had not resisted the storm, it had moved with it. Its flexibility was its strength. In that moment, my grief shifted. I saw that my own pain was like that storm. I had been trying to be an oak, rigid and unmoving, and I was tearing myself apart. The willow showed me the Buddhist middle way. Not rigid resistance, not formless collapse, but mindful, resilient flexibility. Nature's lessons are wordless, but they seep into your bones and cleanse the mind of its brittle ideologies. You do not need a wilderness. A single potted plant can be a portal. A patch of sky viewed from a window, with clouds drifting past. A rainstorm heard from the safety of your room. The practice is to engage with a receptive heart. Go outside, if you can. Find one living thing. A dandelion pushing through a crack, an ant on a journey, a tree. For a few minutes, practice kenosis, a self-emptying. Try to perceive the world as that being. What is it to be a dandelion, rooted, turning your face to the sun? What is it to be the cloud, formless, changing, carried by vast currents? In this imaginative empathy, the hard shell of your personal I softens. Your worries are returned to their proper scale within the immense, beautiful, and indifferent cosmos. This is not diminishing your life, it is placing it within the majestic context of all life. The Buddha attained enlightenment under a Bodhi tree. He did not choose a palace library. He chose a living partner in the natural world, a being that could teach through its silent, steadfast presence. By regularly immersing ourselves in nature, we allow our minds to be cleansed of petty narratives and recalibrated to a slower, more enduring pulse. We remember we belong to something vast, and in that belonging, we find a peace that personal achievements can never provide. Let us carry the feeling of that vast, natural belonging back inside, into the quietude of our own awareness. For as much as we are part of the great web of nature, we also possess an inner universe of profound depth. To navigate it, we must become comfortable with its most fundamental ground. From the expansive embrace of the outer world, we turn now to the fertile, nourishing power of inner silence. This is our fourth gate. We live in a world addicted to noise. Audio noise, visual noise, the constant internal commentary of our own thoughts. We often confuse this noise for aliveness, and we mistake silence for emptiness or boredom. The Buddhist tradition holds a very different view. In the sutras, there are stories of the Buddha remaining silent in the face of certain questions, not out of ignorance, but because the answer lay beyond the reach of conceptual thought. Silence, in this wisdom, is not an absence. It is a presence. It is the clear, open space in which understanding can dawn. It is the canvas upon which the painting of our life appears. To cultivate a friendship with silence is to discover the most healing sanctuary for a burdened mind. I learned the sacredness of silence in an unexpected place, a public library's rare books room. There was a rule, absolute silence. Not just no talking, but a conscious, collective commitment to quiet. The air itself felt different, thick, still, and full of potential, like the moment before a symphony begins. One day, I was researching, filled with a buzzing anxiety about a future decision. The more I read, the more the words blurred. Frustrated, I put my head down on the cool wooden desk. And in that enforced external silence, I began to hear the internal noise with terrifying clarity, the frantic planning, the fearful what-ifs, the self-criticisms. It was almost unbearable. But I had nowhere to go, the rule held me. So I stayed. I listened. And slowly, something beneath the noise began to emerge. A steady hum, a kind of baseline of being. It was the sound of my own aliveness, underneath all the stories. The chaotic thoughts began to seem like ripples on the surface of a deep, still pond. The pond itself was silent, unmoved. I left that library not with a decision made, but with a mind that had been rinsed clean by simply sitting in that silent, resonant space. The Buddha said, "Silence is sometimes the best answer." In that room, I understood. The answer wasn't a thought, it was the space that allowed a wiser kind of knowing to arise. You can invite this sanctuary into your daily life. It does not require a special room. It requires intention. Begin by dedicating just 5 minutes upon waking, before you reach for any device. Sit in your bed or in a chair. Close your eyes. You are not meditating with a focus on breath, not yet. You are simply listening to the silence. You will hear sounds, the house settling, distant traffic, your own heartbeat. Do not label them or push them away. Let them be. Imagine these sounds are like stones dropped into the pool of silence. Notice the silence that surrounds each sound, that absorbs it. You are cultivating an awareness of the background, not the foreground. This practice gently trains the mind to rest in the spacious awareness that holds all experiences, rather than being hijacked by the experiences themselves. Over time, this becomes a refuge. When you feel overwhelmed during the day, you can remember this inner silence. You can mentally step back into it, even for a few seconds. It is a cleansing of the highest order, for it does not rearrange the clutter of the mind, it reveals the vast, clean attic in which the clutter is stored. From this spacious silence, what naturally arises? Often, it is a profound sense of thankfulness. This brings us gently to our fifth gate, a practice that actively colors the clear space of silence with the warm hue of appreciation. The mind has a survival-based tendency to scan for problems, for lack, for what is wrong. This is its ancient job, to keep us safe. But when left unchecked, this tendency builds a worldview of scarcity and anxiety. The Buddhist practice of gratitude is a conscious retraining of this habit. It is not a naive denial of suffering. The Buddha's first noble truth is the reality of dukkha, stress, unease, suffering. Gratitude does not contradict this, it transforms our relationship to it. It is the practice of consciously watering the seeds of joy and sufficiency that are already present in the field of our life, so they grow strong enough to provide shelter even during seasons of difficulty. It is an active alchemy, turning the lead of ordinary moments into the gold of sacred awareness. This truth was etched into my heart not in a moment of plenty, but in a moment of loss. A dear friend passed away unexpectedly. In the raw grief of the following days, the world turned gray. Food had no taste. Music had no beauty. One morning, exhausted from crying, I made a cup of tea. As I held the warm mug, a memory surfaced, not a grand one, but a silly one. Of my friend trying to whistle with a mouthful of crackers and spraying crumbs everywhere, leading to a fit of shared, tear-inducing laughter. The memory arose, and with it, instead of a fresh wave of pain, came a surge of sheer, staggering gratitude. Gratitude that I had ever known such a person. Gratitude for that specific, ridiculous moment. Gratitude that my heart could hurt this much, because it meant I had loved that much. The grief did not disappear, but it was now held in a container of thankfulness that was infinitely larger. I saw then that gratitude is not for the perfect life. It is for the real, messy, heartbreaking, and beautiful life. As the Buddha taught, let us rise up and be thankful. It is an uprising against the tyranny of taking life for granted. To weave this alchemy into your days, you can practice a simple evening reflection. Before sleep, as you lie in the dark, revisit the past 24 hours. Do not look for the big wins. Search for the small gifts, the ones you easily overlook. The warmth of the water in your shower. The precise moment the streetlight flickered on outside your window. The comfort of your pillow. The fact that your eyes could read these words. Find 3. Hold each one in your heart for a full breath. Feel the physical sensation of appreciation, a slight warmth in the chest, a softening around the eyes. You are not just making a list, you are performing a neurological ritual, directing your mind's spotlight to the resources, the beauty, the simple miracles that are always here. This practice, done consistently, rebuilds the mind's foundation from one of lack to one of abundance. It cleanses the corrosive residue of complaint and entitlement, leaving behind a resilient and appreciative heart. A heart cleansed by gratitude is a peaceful heart, for it knows itself to be held, supported, and nourished by 1,000 invisible threads of grace in every single moment. Let that warm, appreciative feeling be the atmosphere we inhabit now, as we turn to a gate that may seem, at first glance, like a departure. We have cultivated inner silence and gratitude. Now, we must address the very architecture of our suffering. Our tendency to grasp, to cling, to hold on long after the season has passed. From the abundant heart, we move to the liberating practice of release. This is our 6th gate. The Buddha's core teaching on impermanence, anicca, is not a philosophical idea to be debated. It is the very ground of our existence, the fundamental law we most deeply resist. Everything that arises will pass away. Every feeling, every thought, every circumstance, every relationship, even this sense of self we hold so dear, all are in constant, fluid motion. Our suffering, the Buddha taught, does not come from the changing nature of things, but from our desperate, exhausting effort to make them permanent. We build dams in the river of experience, trying to hold on to the pleasant and block out the unpleasant. The result is not a beautiful lake, but a stagnant, suffering pond. The practice of letting go is not a loss. It is the courageous act of dismantling those dams, allowing the river of life to flow freely once more. It is the ultimate mental cleanse, for it removes the heaviest clutter of all, the weight of our attachments. I witnessed the most profound lesson in letting go during a long retreat in the mountains. An elderly monk, who had been my guide, fell seriously ill. It was clear his time was near. One evening, I sat by his bedside, my own heart clenched with sorrow and fear. He was weak, but his eyes were clear. He pointed to the small window, where the last light of day was fading from the peaks. "Watch," he whispered. We sat in silence as the majestic mountains transformed from solid, defined entities of rock and snow into soft, blue silhouettes, and finally melted into the darkness of the night sky. "You see," he said, his voice thin but steady. "Even the mountains let go of their form. They do not argue with the night. They rest in the unseen." He paused, gathering strength. We hold on to forms, the form of our body, the form of our relationships, the form of our ideas. But form is only one half of reality. The other half is emptiness, the space that allows form to be. Letting go is not vanishing. It is returning to the spaciousness from which you came. A few days later, he passed away with a quiet exhalation. In his final teaching, he did not talk about doctrines or rituals. He pointed to the mountains and the night, a living sutra on non-attachment. My grief for him did not disappear, but it was no longer a tight knot. It became a vast, open sky of gratitude and release. I had watched a master practice the final, ultimate letting go, and in doing so, he taught me how to live. You can practice this with the smaller holdings of your daily life. Try this simple evening ritual. Sit comfortably and bring to mind one thing you are clinging to. It might be a resentment from earlier in the day, a worry about tomorrow, a longing for a situation to be different. Visualize it as an object you are holding tightly in your closed fist. Feel the tension in your hand and arm, the effort required to keep it clenched. Now, slowly, with intention, begin to open your fingers. Imagine placing that object, that resentment, that worry, on the palm of your open hand. You are not throwing it away in anger. You are simply ceasing to grip it. Observe it resting on your open palm. It is still there, but you are no longer contracting around it. Finally, turn your hand over and let it fall. Imagine it dissolving into the earth, or floating away like a leaf on a stream. Notice the physical sensation in your hand, arm, and chest as you release the muscular and mental effort of holding on. This is a micro-practice of sannyasa, of renunciation. You are not renouncing the experience, you are renouncing your cramped ownership of it. Do this practice regularly. It clears the mental cache of old grievances and future fears, leaving the mind light, open, and available for the fresh experience of the present moment. Having practiced the art of release, we now arrive at a gate that synthesizes much of what we have explored. It is the dedicated, formal practice of turning awareness upon itself. This is the disciplined heart of the path. Meditation. We have been engaging in meditation all along. Mindful breathing is meditation. Cultivating silence is meditation. Practicing gratitude and letting go are forms of meditation in action. Now, we come to the practice of sitting, of zazen, of vipassana, the intentional cultivation of the mind as one would tend a garden. This is not an escape from life. It is a deep dive into the very source of life. The Buddha's pivotal awakening came not from thinking, but from a profound, sustained meditative absorption. He discovered the way out of suffering by looking directly into the nature of the mind itself. Meditation is the tool he bequeathed to us for our own investigation. It is how we learn the topography of our inner world, where we get stuck, what we cling to, and the vast, peaceful awareness that underlies it all. My own relationship with meditation has been everything but linear. For years, I approached it as a task, a means to an end, achieve peace, gain insight, become a good practitioner. This striving created its own kind of tension. The breakthrough came during a 10-day silent retreat. About halfway through, I was in agony, physical pain from sitting, mental torment from boredom and restless thoughts. I was fighting myself, judging myself for not being peaceful. In a moment of utter frustration, I let go of the technique, the posture, the goal. I just sat there, slumped, and allowed everything to be exactly as it was, the pain, the boredom, the chaos. I stopped being the meditator and became the witness. And in that surrender, the meditation truly began. I saw that all my effort had been a subtle form of violence against my present experience. The Buddha's middle way appeared not as a concept, but as a felt sense, not striving, not suppressing, but allowing with wise attention. The garden of the mind needed a patient gardener, not a forceful landscaper. To begin tending your own garden, start with just a few minutes. Sit with dignity, as if your spine is a string connecting you to the heavens, allowing you to be both grounded and uplifted. Gently bring your attention to the anchor of the breath. After a few moments, widen the lens of your awareness. Become aware of your body as a whole, sitting, breathing. Then, include sounds, smells, the temperature of the air. Finally, turn awareness to the mind itself. Watch thoughts and feelings arise. Label them gently if it helps: thinking, planning, remembering, aching. Then, return your soft focus to the body breathing. You are not trying to stop the weeds from growing. You are simply practicing recognizing a weed when you see one, and choosing not to water it with your frantic attention. This consistent, gentle returning is the watering of the seeds of clarity and peace. Some days the garden will be overgrown. That is okay. Just sit with it. Your presence is the sunshine, your non-judgmental awareness is the rain. Over time, without force, the flowers of insight, compassion, and unshakable calm will begin to bloom on their own. This formal practice is the crucible where the other 6 gates are integrated. Here, in the stillness, you practice silence, anchor with breath, harmonize your inner space, feel gratitude for the moment, connect with the nature of your own being, and practice letting go of each thought as it arises. It is the deep cleansing, the quiet revolution that slowly, irrevocably, transforms your relationship to everything. Let us carry the quiet, disciplined awareness from the meditation garden into the flow of our daily lives. For the true test of a cleansed mind is not in the silent sitting, but in the dynamic, often messy, world of interaction and activity. Buddhism is not a retreat from life, it is a more vivid, compassionate, and skillful way of engaging with it. From the stillness of formal practice, we now turn to a gate that embodies this active wisdom, the practice of mindful action, or what we might call the grace of engaged presence. We often split our lives into categories. Time for meditation, time for work, time for chores, time for others. This fragmentation itself can be a source of mental clutter, a feeling of being pulled in many directions. The Buddhist teaching of mindfulness, sati, dissolves these artificial boundaries. It invites us to bring the same quality of open, non-judgmental attention we cultivate on the cushion to every single action, no matter how mundane. Washing a dish, typing an email, listening to a friend, walking to your car. Each of these can become a sacred ritual, a moving meditation that cleanses the mind by fully inhabiting the present. The Buddha taught the importance of samma ajiva, or right livelihood, but this principle extends to right everything, right walking, right talking, right listening. When we perform any action with full awareness, that action becomes a portal to peace. I learned this from a master craftswoman I met in a small village, a potter who created exquisite ceramics. I watched her for hours, expecting to see intense concentration or dramatic artistry. Instead, I saw a profound, effortless ease. Her hands moved in a fluid dance with the spinning clay. She wasn't making a pot, she was participating with the clay in its becoming. There was no separation between her, the wheel, the clay, and the emerging form. She was completely absorbed, yet utterly relaxed. During a break, I asked her the secret to such beautiful work. She smiled, her hands still dusty with clay. "The clay teaches you," she said. "If you are thinking about the last pot, or the next pot, or what you will have for lunch, your hands become clumsy. The clay rebels. But if you are just here, with this handful of earth, with this exact turn of the wheel, then the clay and you become one thing. And what emerges is always true." This was the Dharma in action. She was describing samadhi, concentration. Not in a cross-legged posture, but in creative flow. Her work was her meditation, her art her offering, and her mind was perpetually cleansed by the absolute demand of the present moment that the clay imposed. You can invite this grace into your own life. Choose one routine activity today. It could be making your morning coffee, brushing your teeth, or folding laundry. For the duration of that activity, let it be the most important thing in the universe. Engage all your senses. If you are making coffee, listen to the grinder's roar, smell the rich aroma, feel the weight of the kettle, watch the dark water seep through the grounds. When a thought about the coming day arises, acknowledge it like a bird passing a window, and return to the sensation of the warm mug in your hands. You are not just making coffee, you are practicing the art of being fully alive. This practice transforms drudgery into dignity, multitasking into monotasking, and scattered energy into collected presence. It cleanses the mind by unifying it, gathering the scattered threads of your attention into a single, potent point of now. From this integrated state, our interactions with others naturally become more authentic and compassionate. We realize that every person we meet is also a form of sacred clay, and our mindful presence is the wheel on which true connection is shaped. Having explored engagement, we must now address a subtle but powerful form of mental clutter that persists even in silence and even in action, the stories we tell ourselves. Our identities, our narratives of victimhood or triumph, our opinions and judgments, these are the furniture we have arranged in the house of our mind. To truly cleanse it, we must learn to see these stories as temporary visitors, not permanent residents. This leads us to our ninth gate. The Buddhist teaching of anatta, often translated as non-self, is perhaps his most radical and misunderstood. It does not mean you don't exist. It means that what you typically call I or me, the bundle of memories, preferences, roles, and opinions, is not a solid, permanent entity. It is a constantly changing process, a collection of aggregates. Suffering deepens when we identify with these aggregates, when we say, I am my anger, or I am my failure, or I am my success. This identification is the glue that holds mental clutter in place. The practice of non-identification is the solvent that gently releases it. It is the art of seeing all mental and emotional phenomena as impersonal events in consciousness, not as the definition of who you are. A powerful lesson in this came during a period of intense public criticism early in my teaching career. A talk I gave was misunderstood and harshly criticized in a published article. The initial wave of shame and defensiveness was overwhelming. I felt attacked, my identity as a good teacher crumbling. I spent days rehearsing arguments, drafting responses, consumed by the story of me, the misunderstood victim. It was a torment of my own creation. Finally, exhausted, I went for a long walk. As I walked, I began to practice labeling the thoughts. Here is the thought of defending, here is the feeling of shame, here is the story of being wronged. I stopped saying, I am ashamed, and started noting, there is shame. This tiny linguistic shift created a seismic internal shift. The shame was no longer the center of my universe, it was a passing weather system in the sky of my awareness. The story was just a story, not the truth. The criticism was about words I had spoken, not an annihilation of my being. By not identifying with the pain, I could finally see the kernel of truth in the criticism without my ego's desperate interference. The situation resolved not through a dramatic rebuttal, but through a quiet clarification born of that clarity. The Buddha taught to see all things, even the aggregates of self, with the wisdom, this is not mine. This I am not. This is not myself. This is the ultimate decluttering, freeing up immense psychic energy once spent on protecting a fragile idea of me. You can practice this throughout your day. When a strong emotion arises, frustration in traffic, hurt from a comment, pride in an accomplishment, pause. Instead of being swept into the narrative it generates, take one breath and silently name the experience. Frustration is present. Hurt is here. Pride is arising. Place the word is between you and the feeling. You are creating a space of witnessing. In that space, you have a choice. To fuse with the emotion and become it, or to acknowledge it as a visitor in the house of your awareness, one that will, like all things, change and pass. This practice does not suppress emotion, it allows you to feel it fully without drowning in it. It cleanses the mind of sticky identifications, leaving it transparent, responsive, and free. Let us carry the lightness of non-identification into a space of profound simplicity. After learning to release our grip on stories and emotions, we discover a natural, childlike quality of attention that is often buried beneath our adult complexities. From the liberated space of the witness, we now turn to a gate that celebrates perception itself, finding the extraordinary woven into the very fabric of the ordinary. This is the practice of deep looking, the cultivation of wonder. Buddhism is rich with teachings on perception. The Buddha encouraged his followers to see the world clearly, to penetrate the superficial appearance of things to understand their true nature, impermanent, interdependent, and empty of separate existence. This deep looking, or vipassana, is often presented as an analytical meditation. But there is another, equally vital dimension, the practice of seeing the world with fresh, appreciative eyes, as if for the first time. It is to encounter a cup of water not as a mundane object, but as a miracle, containing within it ancient rains, distant rivers, and the very substance of life. This practice cleanses the mind of boredom and routine, injecting the daily with a potent sense of sacred awe. When the mind is filled with wonder, there is no room for the dusty clutter of cynicism or indifference. I was taught this not in a meditation hall, but by a 4-year-old child. I was staying with a family, and one morning, their young daughter, Mia, found a pine cone on the garden path. She did not simply pick it up, she knelt before it as if before an altar. She spent a full 20 minutes with it. She traced its spirals with a tiny finger, her brow furrowed in concentration. She counted its scales. She sniffed it deeply. She held it to her ear, listening. She marveled at its texture, comparing it to the roughness of the brick path and the smoothness of her own cheek. In her universe, that pine cone was not an insignificant bit of nature's debris, it was a universe of complexity, a treasure chest of sensory information, a masterpiece of natural engineering. Watching her, my own jaded perception was shattered. I saw how my mind had labeled pinecone and moved on, missing the entire reality of the thing in front of me. I was thinking in abstractions, while she was swimming in direct experience. The Buddha is said to have held up a flower and through his silent, profound looking, transmitted a deep teaching. Mia, in her unconditioned way, was doing the same. She was immersed in tathata, suchness, perceiving the pinecone in its absolute, unique, and wondrous pineconeness. You can reclaim this capacity. It requires slowing down and choosing curiosity over categorization. Select a simple, everyday object, a spoon, a leaf, a pebble, a piece of fruit. Give yourself 5 minutes with it. Your task is not to think about it, but to perceive it. Explore it with every sense except taste, unless it's the fruit. What are its precise colors, textures, temperatures, weights, and sounds? See if you can discover something about it you have never noticed before. A tiny flaw, a pattern in its design, the way light plays across its surface. As you do this, notice how your mind settles. The frantic search for stimulation and entertainment halts, satisfied by the rich, quiet drama of direct perception. This practice is a potent cleanser for a mind dulled by overstimulation. It re-enchants your world, reminding you that you live in a place of endless mystery and beauty. It also trains the mind in the foundational Buddhist skill of bare attention, stripping away conceptual overlays to touch the vivid, pulsating reality of the present moment. From this place of engaged wonder, our communication with the world and others becomes more authentic, more textured, and more alive. Having refreshed our perception, we must now address a fundamental source of mental turbulence that persists even for the keen observer, our relationship with difficulty. A cleansed mind is not a mind that never experiences pain, it is a mind that knows how to relate to pain with wisdom, transforming its very energy. This brings us to our 11th gate. A common misunderstanding is that a spiritual path leads to a life free of problems. The Buddha's journey began with a confrontation with aging, sickness, and death. His teaching does not offer an escape from life's inevitable pains but a path through them. The second noble truth identifies the cause of suffering as craving and aversion, our desire for pleasure and our resistance to pain. Therefore, a crucial part of cleansing the mind is learning to meet difficulty not with the tightening grip of resistance, but with an open, allowing awareness. This is not passive resignation, it is an alchemical process. When we stop fighting a difficult emotion or circumstance, we remove the fuel of our secondary suffering. The anxiety about our anxiety, the anger about our pain. What remains is the pure, creative energy of the experience itself, which can then be integrated and understood. I learned this alchemy through a period of chronic insomnia. For months, sleep would elude me. I would lie in the dark, frustration and anxiety mounting with each passing hour. My mind was a battlefield, I need to sleep, warring with, I'll be useless tomorrow. The more I fought, the more awake I became. One desperate night, I remembered the teaching of turning towards the difficult. Instead of trying to banish my wakefulness, I decided to invite it in. I mentally said, okay, wakefulness. You are here. Let's be together. I stopped focusing on the desired state, sleep, and brought curious attention to the actual sensations, the feeling of the sheets, the rhythm of my heart, the play of thoughts. I even whispered, "Thank you," to the alertness in my body. A profound shift occurred. The fight dissolved. The experience of insomnia transformed into an experience of quiet rest in the dark. The identity of insomniac melted away. I was simply a being, aware, in the night. I may have dozed off later, or I may not have. It ceased to matter. The suffering was gone because the resistance was gone. The difficulty had been transformed into a deep, if unusual, meditation. The Buddha taught that within suffering lies the path to its end. By not adding aversion to our pain, we meet it with a wisdom that can ultimately transmute it. You can practice this with small daily difficulties. The next time you feel a wave of irritation, impatience, or low-grade anxiety, pause. Instead of reacting immediately or trying to mentally argue it away, take 3 conscious breaths. On the 4th breath, gently direct your attention into the center of the uncomfortable feeling in your body. Where do you feel it? What is its texture, temperature, size? Breathe into that space, as if offering it oxygen. Soften around it. By giving it compassionate space, you are not feeding the story that triggers it. This person is wrong, this situation is bad. You are meeting the raw energy of sensation with awareness. Often, you will find it changes, moves, or dissipates when met with this kind of openness. This practice cleanses the mind of its habitual, knee-jerk reactions, building a resilience that allows you to move through life's challenges with grace and equanimity, understanding that difficulty, too, is part of the ever-changing flow. As we learn to meet difficulty with openness, we naturally cultivate a broader, more inclusive heart. A mind cleansed of rigid resistance becomes a vessel for a more expansive quality. From transforming our personal challenges, we turn now to a gate that extends our care beyond the boundaries of our own skin. This is the cultivation of boundless heart, the practice of loving kindness and compassion. Gate 12, the cultivation of boundless heart. The Buddha did not teach a path of isolated introspection alone. The ultimate fruit of a clear mind is a warm, compassionate heart. The teachings of Brahmaviharas, the sublime abodes, are love, metta, compassion, karuna. Sympathetic joy, mudita, and equanimity, upekkha. These are not mere emotions but practices, ways of relating to all beings that systematically cleanse the mind of ill will, cruelty, envy, and partiality. When we harbor resentment or indifference, it is a form of mental clutter, a toxic residue that clouds our inner clarity. Actively cultivating a friendly, compassionate attitude is like opening all the windows of a stuffy house, allowing fresh, clean air to circulate through every room of our consciousness. My deepest lesson in this came from an encounter with someone I initially perceived as an adversary. Early in my work, I collaborated with a man whose methods were opposite to mine. He was abrupt, critical, and seemed to dismiss the gentle approach I valued. I built a solid story of judgment around him, seeing him as an obstacle. My mind was cluttered with silent arguments and frustration whenever we met. This tension poisoned my own peace. Finally, during a particularly tense project, I decided to try a metta practice directed specifically at him. Alone in my room, I began repeating the traditional phrases, feeling like a hypocrite. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. For days, it felt mechanical. But I persisted. Then, I added a contemplative step. I tried to imagine his childhood, his struggles, his fears, his hidden hopes, to see him as a human being who, like me, wanted to avoid suffering and find some happiness. One morning, during a meeting, he made his usual sharp critique. But instead of my mind tightening in defense, something else happened. I heard the critique not as a personal attack, but as an expression of his own anxiety about the project's success. I saw the fatigue in his eyes. For the first time, I felt a flicker of genuine compassion. I simply nodded and said, "I understand your concern. Let's see how we can address it." The energy in the room shifted instantly. The adversary vanished, replaced by a fellow traveler under stress. This was the cleansing power of metta. It didn't change him, it changed my perception, dissolving the mental clutter of resentment and allowing for clear, effective, and humane communication. You can weave this boundless heart practice into your life. Start with yourself. Sit quietly and offer yourself the phrases, "May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be peaceful. May I live with ease." Feel the intention behind the words. Then, bring to mind a benefactor, someone for whom you feel natural gratitude. Offer the phrases to them. Next, think of a neutral person, someone you see but don't know, like a cashier or a neighbor. Offer the phrases. Finally, and this is the powerful cleanser, bring to mind a difficult person. Start with someone mildly challenging, not your greatest enemy. Offer the phrases, understanding that wishing them well does not mean condoning harmful behavior. It means wishing them freedom from the inner confusion that leads to such behavior. This practice systematically breaks down the mental habits of hostility and separation. It cleanses the heart of old grudges and builds a resilient, inclusive kindness. A mind filled with metta is a mind at peace, for it is no longer at war with anyone, inside or out. From this expansive heart, we are ready to integrate all we have learned into the most fundamental rhythm of existence, the rhythm of receiving and offering, of taking in and letting go, of being part of a great, reciprocal exchange. This brings us to our 13th gate. Generosity, or dana, is the foundational practice of Buddhism. It is the first step on the path, the training that loosens the grip of the ego and its constant craving. A clenched mind, obsessed with protecting and acquiring, is a cluttered mind. Generosity is the direct antidote. It is not merely about giving money or things, it is an orientation of the heart, a willingness to offer our time, our attention, our patience, our forgiveness, our skills. The act of giving, when done without attachment to praise or outcome, is a profound mental cleanse. It creates a sense of spaciousness and interconnection, flushing out the stagnant energies of selfishness and scarcity thinking. The Buddha taught that the practice of giving purifies the mind and leads to happiness. I witnessed the purest form of this teaching in a remote village where material wealth was scarce. An elder in the community was known for his boundless generosity, though he owned little. One bitter winter, a traveler came through the village, ill and destitute. The elder, without hesitation, gave the traveler his own only thick blanket and a portion of his meager food stores. When others questioned him, saying, "But you need these things yourself," he simply replied, "His need is greater today. Tomorrow, the sun may shine for me." A few days later, other villagers, moved by his action, brought him a share of their own wood and food. He accepted it with the same grace with which he had given. He lived in the flow of generosity, understanding that he was a conduit, not a warehouse. His mind seemed perpetually clear and light, free from the anxiety of possession. He embodied the truth that generosity is not a loss, but a participation in the circulatory system of life. What you give out returns, though rarely in the same form. By releasing his grip on his blanket, he received warmth of a different, more enduring kind. You can practice this cleansing rhythm daily. Look for micro-opportunities to give. Let someone go ahead of you in line. Offer a genuine compliment. Listen fully when someone speaks, giving the gift of your complete attention. Donate an item you no longer need, wishing it well in its next home. Before you give, pause and set a simple intention, may this be of benefit. Feel the slight release in your heart as you offer it. This practice trains the mind in non-attachment and interconnection. It counters the deep-seated conditioning of me and mine, replacing it with a sense of we. A generous mind is a light mind, unburdened by hoarding and calculation. It finds joy in the flow itself, in the simple, sacred act of offering, which is, in its essence, a form of returning borrowed things to a universe that has given you everything. Welcome back. We have journeyed through many gates together. We have found our anchor in the breath, cultivated harmony in our space, sought sanctuary in silence, and practiced the alchemy of gratitude. We have sat by the river of letting go, tended the garden of meditation, moved with the grace of engaged presence, and discovered liberation through non-identification. We have practiced deep looking, learned to transform difficulty, cultivated a boundless heart, and entered the rhythm of generosity. Now, as we approach the end of our formal journey, it is time to weave these strands into a single, seamless cloth. A cleansed mind is not a collection of separate techniques, but a unified way of perceiving and being. This final integration is not a new gate to pass through, but the open sky in which all gates exist. It is the understanding that these practices are not tasks to complete, but aspects of your innate wisdom to remember. They are mirrors, each reflecting the same timeless truth. Your true nature is already peaceful, clear, and whole. The clutter was never permanent, it was only weather. Imagine an ancient, dust-covered mirror in a forgotten room. For years, it reflects nothing but a dim, confused gray. One day, a caretaker arrives. They do not paint a new picture on the glass. They simply begin to clean. First, they wipe the center, revealing a clear spot. This is your anchor in the breath. They clean the edges, creating harmony. This is your ordered space. They polish away the grime of old noise, revealing silence. With a soft cloth of thankfulness, they brighten the reflection. This is gratitude. They carefully loosen and remove stubborn streaks of old residue. This is letting go. They apply a consistent, gentle pressure across the entire surface. This is meditation. They clean the frame and the surrounding area. This is engaged presence and non-identification. They step back and view the reflection with fresh eyes. This is deep looking. They are not troubled by the remaining faint smudges. This is transforming difficulty. They feel a tenderness for the mirror's long neglect. This is boundless heart. They share the mirror's clarity with the room. This is generosity. Finally, the work is complete. The caretaker steps away. The mirror now does what it has always been meant to do. It reflects perfectly, without distortion, exactly what is in front of it. It does not hold on to yesterday's light. It does not anticipate tomorrow's image. It simply reflects the present, in its full, vivid suchness. This is the integrated, cleansed mind. The caretaker's various tools and actions were not the clarity, they were the means of revealing it. The clarity was the mirror's nature all along. Your mind is that mirror. These 15 gates are the loving, careful methods of cleansing. You are both the caretaker and the mirror. Do not mistake the cleaning for the clarity. The practices are vital, but their purpose is to reveal the ever-present awareness that is your home. So, how do you live from this integrated understanding? You live gently. You move through your days with a light touch. When stress arises, you feel the breath, gate 1. When chaos mounts, you tidy a small space, gate 2. When the world is loud, you find a moment of silence, gate 3. When lack whispers, you name 3 gifts, gate 4. When you are clinging, you open your palm, gate 5. Each day, you sit in the garden of your awareness, even for 5 minutes, gate 6. You wash a dish with your full attention, gate 7. When a harsh thought about yourself arises, you see it as a passing cloud, gate 8. You pause to truly see a falling leaf, gate 9. You meet irritation with curiosity, not condemnation, gate 10. You wish well for a difficult person, gate 11. You give your time or attention freely, gate 12. You do not do all this at once. You simply do the next, most obvious, most gentle thing. And in doing so, you are not building peace from scratch. You are uncovering the peace that has been there, beneath everything, waiting for your recognition. This is the path of a lifetime, yet it is walked in this single step. This present breath. This soft gaze. This open heart. As we close, I offer you a final blessing, an ancient parita or protection chant from the Buddhist tradition. May it seal this journey and accompany you as you move forward. May you be safe and protected from all harm, inner and outer. May you be healthy, in body and in mind. May you be peaceful, and at ease with all things. May you live with lightness of heart, free from burden. You carry within you everything you need. The teacher, the teaching, and the path are all present in your own mindful awareness. Trust it. Be kind to it. Visit it often. Thank you for sharing this time with me at Monk's Temple. This is not a goodbye, but a new beginning on your own path. Walk gently. Be well.